Hi, I'm back. Thanks for your YouTube questions. I love them. And I'm going to answer two of them right now, having to do with both ends of the spectrum of psychic ability. One is, what are the absolute basics I did to become psychic overnight, which happened to me? And let's talk about angels and demons and reptilians, Lorraine. Come on, get with it. So let's talk about it. The first thing I want to talk about is psychic ability. This isn't going to be new news to some of you who've been watching these videos. However, I do want to emphasize my personal experience about what I've seen happen for me and for my clients and some of my friends who have become psychic. Okay. Number one fundamental is sobriety. Being sober from the neck up. Very important. Why? Because it gives you clarity and protection. If you are someone who's drinking and becoming psychic, what you're doing is you're playing with fire because you're inviting in other entities because you do not have clarity. And I've seen it to happen to, I know people it's happened to who are psychic and drinking heavily or taking drugs. And it's like being on a bad acid trip. It's just not something you want to play with. So these are tall orders we're going to be talking about here today, because the desire to be psychic comes with the willingness to show the universe you're going to be responsible with these abilities. And if you're saying that you want the abilities, but you're not willing to make certain sacrifices or adjustments, it's for your own protection that you don't get those abilities right now. It's not punishment, it's just the way the universe works to help you enjoy the journey. So, sobriety, sober from the neck up. I personally have been sober for almost 20 years now, and it's made a big difference to me in terms of what comes around me, in terms of entities and having clarity. Secondly, a strong meditation practice. I think I had been meditating every day for a year, twice a day. That's transcendental meditation, where you meditate 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the evening. And it requires a discipline to do it. It's not something that you just, fall back onto. It's easy. It's like an exercise program. It's something that you really have to commit to. I happen to have a wonderful teacher in Minneapolis, St. Paul, who does not charge anything to teach. If you want to know more information about him, send me an email. I've literally sent hundreds of people there, clients and friends and family members, to learn to meditate. Thirdly, I think slowing down your life a little bit, eliminating some busyness, helps you to kind of quiet down and receive some of the abilities. That's very important. And I think lastly is the strong innate desire to become psychic. What happens is we're smart. We know on a soul level that when you do become fully psychic, it brings a whole bag of tricks with it, okay? So it's going to be, you're going to be hearing more clearly what God's will is for you. You're going to be hearing some information that you probably don't want to know about other people or situations in your life. I mean, there's seeming downsides to being psychic, and you're smart. You know this. So you know that if you actually pull in all this psychic ability from the universe that you're capable of having, that it's going to be a mixed bag, and it's going to be an adjustment period. Now, the good news is, as much as you can see the negativity, the falsehoods of certain organizations, institutions, and people, you can also see the truth and light and integrity of institutions and people more clearly. I'm not telling you that you don't already see and know a lot of this yourself, because psychic is a term I think that we've come to treat as abnormal. Abnormal. The Young Frankenstein. What was the name on the label? Abnormal. Well, psychic is not abnormal. In fact, psychic is what's normal. Psychic is what's supposed to be, because psychic is seeing it and really seeing it, not just seeing what you're told to see or hearing what you're told to hear. You are in the catbird seat. You're sitting in your own self-authority. You are seeing what's true for you. Now, that being said, of course, I mean, yes, are there demons out there? Are there reptiles? Are there bug-looking creatures? Yeah. I mean, it's like in the movie Constantine, where he can look around and see things the way they really are, and everybody else has their, head buried in the sand. However, the church seems to be on it in Constantine, doesn't it? Doesn't the church know about all this? And doesn't the Catholic Church have in place, in reality, exorcisms? Yes, it does. We're told not, on some level, not to believe in certain aspects of this stuff, and yet there are institutions and leaders around us who know the truth of the situation, and psychics. Everybody beats up on psychics. I mean, to me, most of the psychics out there, are just doing what they do best. They're seeing the truth and they're talking about it. And when you have the balls, when you have the guts to really take a look at something and really see it, and then to, in fact, talk about what you're seeing, I mean, come on, that takes a certain amount of courage. I would explain it like this. If you're not able, or you're not willing, or you haven't seen quote unquote demons or reptilians, demons look dark and they don't want to be seen. I mean, they do their best work not being seen. I mean, they don't have a big ego about being seen. Their ego, a demon's ego, comes more from being able to control and manipulate situations. And when people aren't willing to see them, it works in their favor because they're able to manipulate people and situations and, basically do their bidding. When I'm looking at someone who looks to be possessed or have a hitchhiker on board, they look dark. I mean, the demons will look very dark in your psychic third eye energetically. It's a dark energy. It comes across as angry, wanting to manipulate. They will do their best to interrupt a psychic reading. If you're a psychic who can see demons, and you're trying to work with a client who has a problem with them, the demon will try and interrupt the reading or use the person's ego to break it up. I've gone into, there's a store in Los Angeles that I've been going to every once in a while, and I would get sick to my stomach. I would feel really weird in there, and then finally I would just have to get out. Well, I ran into another psychic in town who said, oh yeah, there's a lot of possessed people that go to that store, and there's a lot of demons in that store. And I'm talking, this is like your average Joe store. And when she said that, I just laughed because I was like, that was what it was. But I was just, when you're in there running around trying to get stuff, because I'm human, I just was zipping around, and then I would just have to suddenly run out because I was so sick to my stomach. And she talked about a situation where somebody was, clearly possessed and said some things to her that were completely inappropriate, and then 5 minutes outside the store, the man looked like he had never even spoken to her because he had been possessed momentarily. So, what do you do? I mean, and then reptilians are people, are beings, are entities that are service to others. I'm sorry, they're service to self. They're service to self. And psychically, when you see them, they look like reptiles. They look like lizards, or, there's also bug creatures too, like in Starship Troopers, whatever that movie was. That the bugs look like, that's what they look like. They're really creepy. And when you look around, you'll see them. And I've seen them, the entities that look like reptiles at airports, and where there's fear, when a lot of times right after 911, when there was so much fear at the airport and so much high security and blah blah blah, there were a lot of reptiles there, and reptiles feed on the fear energy. That being said, there's a lot of reasons that you might not want to be psychic, because maybe you don't want to see all this stuff. But again, knowing what you're looking at helps you to deal and cope and make appropriate decisions. And also, it helps you to see the good and the light in people and situations even more clearly. So, get on it. Get psychic. Come on, let's go. I'm watching it happen. It's happening with my clients, with my friends, people I don't know. It is totally possible. If you really tell the universe you're ready, it's time. All right. Blessings. Bye.